Blender 5.0 has released a lot of tons of new features, which has created a buzz and excitement among all the 3D artists. And for real reasons, right? It really helps us to make our life much better. But what any Blender, let's say 4.0 or 5.0, can't do is to help you solve your rendering problem. In 4.0, it's going to take the same amount of time in rendering, and even in the 5.0, it's going to take the same amount of time in rendering. But what if you can really take advantage of 5090, and you might say that, hey, I don't want to sell my kidney, and for that reasons, I have really come up with a solution that can really help you to solve your problem. What if I really told you that you can access 5090, a $3,000 GPU for just about $0.69? That sounds unbelievable, right? But by the end of this video, I'll kind of really prove it to you that yes, you can get 5090 for less than $0.69. And you can even get 8 5090 graphics card, which is like $24,000 graphics card for then less than a price of a Starbucks coffee. That sounds truly unbelievable, right? So let's get into the computer screen and let's see how it really works. So this is my open source project called Cloud Blender Render. So this is made in Rust and JavaScript. Now, of course, you don't need to know the technicality of what it is and all of that. So I really built this from my own pain point of like I was struggling to render my entire scene on my computer itself. So I just built this as an open source software that you can really run on top of RunPod, where you can get GPU at dirt cheap rates. And of course, if you really sign up with our link, and if you're the new users, you will get additional credit like $5 to $500 credit free for the first time. That means if you load $10, you'll get additional $5 at least. So that will be like $15 worth of credits for the first time. That is guaranteed. And again, if you really have any confusion, if you really don't know if this service is for you or not, by the end of this video, you can always email me at info@rahulahire.com. That would really help you to really decide whether you should really kind of get you, if you really want a hands-on experience before you want to try it out. I'll be more than happy to kind of, assist you or guide you in that way. So these are all the landing page and details. This is how it works. You upload your blend file and then you select your settings, rendering settings, then you press your animation and then all the frames just come in front of you. Isn't that great? Of course, sometimes, you really want to make sure that you are really getting the worth bang for your buck, let's say, and then in that case, you'll be able to see all of these statistics and dashboard. So plus, and as I already mentioned, this software is running on RunPod, which is the GPU infrastructure providers. And the Cloud Blender Render is just an open source software for that. And these are just the benchmarks that you can follow. Let's say this 4.1 Blender Splash, sofa image and all of that. You can really see whether you need multiple GPUs or whether only a single 5090 or let's say 4090 GPU would be enough for you or not. And in that case, on RunPod, compared to other render farms, you always get an enterprise level security. Now, no other render farms that I have really just kind of visited and saw, no one really seems to kind of really boast about it, that hey, they offer this. And since RunPod is kind of really, serving enterprise clients where they already are compliant on their various levels, you can be rest assured that all of your data is being really secured and no one is going to really hijack or let's say attack your data, unless there's some alien technology which is really probable to hack, unless that's a different topic altogether. So, and really, this is a no oversharing. Now, here's a very interesting concept, right? When you really kind of, use other render farms, what they typically do is if they're having one GPU card, they are really rendering tasks from 3 users at a time. What that means is that you would never get a predictable performance. And with Cloud Blender Render, using on RunPod or the other providers, you always get a dedicated instance where if you spin up any instance, It's only you that are in charge of that, which is really nice. And again, this price is the really lowest. You're getting like 5090 for just $0.69, and 4090 is like less than the half of it. Like it's almost nothing. Yeah. So these are the pretty much basic instructions. And now you can come up right here and you can just deploy this. If these are all the instructions, but yeah, we are really watching this video so that so we can really get all of the nuances with a much more simplistic way. And also this documentation will also really help you if you really prefer to really read all the details. And of course, this is the sign up button. If you really just kind of open into the incognito mode, I'll just show you how it works. So it really shows you that you have unlocked the referral bonus. So if you sign it up and if you really add a $10 bill into these $10 credits, you'll get additional at least $5 credit, which I already previously mentioned. So I have already entered into my Runpod account, and what you really need to do is you need to go to the billing section, and then you really need to add and pay with this amount. Minimum is about just minimum. Let's say if minimum amount is 10, you start with the $10, and then once you build the confidence, once you're really sure that this is for you, then you can really go on to enter more and more amount. And now you might really notice that there is two kind of cloud providers out there, secure and community cloud. Now remember what I talk about, all of this safety compliance. So all of this compliances and all of the security that you really, if your project really needs, that can only be fulfilled within the secure cloud, because secure cloud is the one that Runpod manages by themselves. And the community cloud is basically like, a distributed rendering system. Let's say you're like PewDiePie, who is having multiple 4090 GPU cards and you're not really doing much anything with it at the moment. You want to really lease it out. Runpod can install their software on your machine, and then you can mint money, Runpod can benefit, and the users can benefit as well. So that's how it really works. And due to the distributed nature of that, Runpod can't always guarantee all those compliances which they offer in the secure cloud. But the flip side to that is that, things are always cheaper in, let me just take this any location right here. Things are always cheaper in community cloud. So if your project doesn't demand any enterprise level security, then that's probably fine, I guess. If you're working on a hobby project, just trying to evaluate something, then community cloud is more than enough. But I would still prefer secure cloud, because the drivers are updated and there's no rough edges compared to, sometimes you might get rough edges here and there in the community cloud. But yeah, so that's why I would prefer to use secure cloud. Now for this demo, what we'll do is we'll just choose 5090. We'll go to the template, and what we'll do is we will type here, just refresh it here. Yeah, so what we'll do is we will type it Blender, and if we just select this, so for you it will appear somewhat down below here, but for me it's right now up here. So I'll just select this and I'll just kind of deploy it on demand. Now depending on how big of your rendering is, by default it has 50 gigabytes of storage. Now how much your entire, let's say how much frame that you're rendering, and let's assume that each frame is about 5 MB. So in that sense, you can render 10,000 frames at a given point of time. If you need more, you can surely even go to, let's say, 500 or even 5 terabytes. That's not a really big problem. But so that's where you can also just kind of click and deploy. But since I have already done that, in interest of saving time, so this is exactly how it looks, 5090, all of this instance. And, if you go to the details, it's kind of showing me this Euro N1 region. And you have to really wait for 1 or 2 minutes before, make sure all of this should be green. As you can see, it's now already green. And just connect this one. And yeah, so it will really open this Cloud Blender render instance. And as you can see here, all of this is showing the beautiful RAM stats. The CPU is about near idle. And let's say, okay, let's just kind of go right here. And this, and it also shows you the upload and download speed, just to make sure that there is no issue within your internet or ISP. And of course, there is also, you can keep your session private. What that really means is that if you just kind of copy this and if you really just open the incognito tab and act as an hacker, what it really happens is that you can clearly access it. But now if I just, enable this, and now if I take that instance back, if I try to do this, yeah, as you can see, now it's giving me this authentication error that, yeah, you can please contact the administration. And then, but if you really want to share this with your friend as a secured connection, it's kind of like here. And then what you can do is you can copy this special shareable link, and then you can do is cut paste here, and then, yeah, and you'll be authenticated to just kind of enter it. But for this demonstration, I really don't need that. So I'm just gonna really shut that off. And also you can really enable the notification, but how that really works, we'll come to that later. And of course, what we'll do is right now, we'll just kind of drag and drop all of our blend file here. But before that, I just want to show you what exactly it looks like. This is the entire UI. It's nothing, there's nothing so special about it. What you really need to do is, if you don't have any videos, anything external data that can't be packed, then you can just go on and just kind of do automatically pack resources. And now what we'll try to do is we'll just drag and drop our folder. Let's say this is how it looks, and then, yeah, it's really. And then if you really want to select entire animation really means that, let's say I have already defined the keyframe like start to end, and let's say start is 1 and end frame is like 718. So it will render all of those frames. So, but if you want to render only single image just for testing, validation, and any purpose that might really suit you, you can really choose 1 frame, you can choose 100 frames, or you can also choose the range. You can manually define where do you want. Do you want to render from 100 to 200, or let's say 50 to 70? It gives you that flexibility. So again, but just for the sake of simplicity, we want this entire to be as all of that. And of course, when you choose entire, you really see that you can't select this. So yeah, that's what it is. And again, there's 3 rendering engines, which you might be very familiar. And again, we choose cycles, then we choose optics, and then we start rendering it. So as you can see, it started to read. Now it's saying cycles. Yeah, and now it's saying that loading kernels might take some time. So first initial frame always takes the longer. Like sometimes, depending on how heavy the scene is, it might take 1 or even 2 to 3 minutes. But once you are done, once the initial settling is done, it will just take few moments here and there. Yeah, so as you can see, it's really rendering much faster. So the first frame just took a little bit of time, but yeah. So now it's really rendering at much quick pace, right? So that's the basic gist of how it really works. And yeah, if you really want to render it on multiple GPU, this is exactly how the layout and all the setting really looks like. This is the demo on basically the sofa links. I've just tried to make the cycle settings and make sure that it really works. So you can select multiple GPUs according to your own workflow that really suits you. Finish rendering all of that. You also need to download all of that, right? So what you need to do is if you just want to inspect any one, you can just click on this link icon and it will just show it in the next window. And if you really want to download all of them, what you can do is you can select a folder. Let's say I'll just kind of go right into this 3, and then I'll select this. I'll give the permission allow, and I'll do the save changes. Now, one thing that you really need to know is that this functionality only works on Chromium and Chromium based browsers. So if you're using like Firefox and Safari, please consider using Chrome for that. Chrome or Chromium based browsers. If you don't like Chrome due to its the kind of monopolistic sentiments or whatever the cause is, you can always use these open source Chromium or Chromium based browsers. Yeah, so as you can see, it's downloading in real time right now. Yeah, so this is how it really works. Once the download is finished, it really goes back to the previous icon. And this is the add-on which I have really made called BlendPack. Now, you can really download the BlendPack by going on to my deploy page. The link under the instructions and all of that will be present in the deploy page up right here. And also, that will really take you to my GitHub page where it will really just kind of, where is this? Yeah. So it will kind of show you all of this BlendPack page. You can just click on it, and then what you'll kind of do is you just click on this edit preference, go to the add-ons, install from disk, and then you just select the zip file which will be just kind of downloaded from the GitHub itself. And now it comes time to really understand how can you really work with something that can't be packed within the blend file itself. So here's an example like this VDB tornado. If you really just look at all sort of this, let's say these are all VDB. I'm just not going to play too much, otherwise my PC will get angry at me. And here's what it is. So this is the VDB blend file, and all of these VDBs are here, just right here. And it's about 128 list images, list or volume data. Now, of course, if I just try to, what I'll try to do is I'll just come right here to my app, go to the control panel, delete this, and I'll just upload this again. Yeah, what I'll try to do is I'll just try to render a single frame, and let's see what it works. So yeah, as you can see, it's now quit. There is nothing because the blend file is not having any contained link file about the VDBs and all of that. So what you can do is you can really just install this BlendPack add-on, and what you'll try to do is you really just kind of go and browse your folder. Let's say I'll go to my 3 folder, select this, and then I'll start packing it. So what will really do is if I come here, so certainly it really just kind of goes and start to pack it right here. As you can see, it's kind of archiving, but it's going to take a little bit of time depending on how much files do you have. So I'll just fast forward this. Yeah, so now it's been packed. As you can see, all of this is very much here right there, and it gathers all of these files together. It really links them properly so that you don't really have to worry about how it's redone or not. So all you have to do is just press back. It really creates a zip file, and now what you need to do is you need to just kind of upload that zip file again here. Just delete this, let's go to this file, and here. Yeah, so it's now uploaded. But here's the thing with the zip file, that you might really see that, hey, it's been uploaded, but it's stuck at this 100%. The thing is, it's not stuck at 100%. What it's really actually doing is when you're uploading all the zip, it's really extracting all those files, and that might take 5 to even, let's say, 10 seconds at best. If it's taking really longer than that, so probably there's some issue in the instance, and you should probably go in the machine and the stop and terminate this. So that would really avoid all those issues. And looks like the file has been uploaded. So let's check it now. Let me try to render, let's say, get from 1 to 5. That will give us a good idea how it really works. And that's then, yeah. So yeah, this is rendering and it's over. Now you might really saw that it was appearing EV even though we have chosen cycles, and that's because the project right here itself is in EV. So make sure that you select your engine accordingly in the blend file. And if you're already working with cycles, make sure that the denoising is turned on if you really want. And if you don't want it, then that's probably fine. So it's like, yeah. So this is pretty much how it really works. And then of course you can also go on download all the files, just what I've explained previously. But if you really want, if you're now really saying that if you really want to render another files by deleting all of this, how would you do that? It's very simple. What you have to do is go to this direct folder access. And that will really launch you to all of this folder section of this project. Now, do not touch or delete, let's say do not delete any of this folder, because all of these folders are really crucial to make this software run. What we're really interested in is just go into this output folder where all of these files are stored. Now, click on the first one and then click Shift plus again click. So let's say what I'll just try to repeat it, like, let's say if I go to back, and if I come to this output folder, just here, click single click, then Shift plus left click, and then right click to delete all of this, right? This is pretty much how it works. And then of course, if you just refresh this and go to right here, there is nothing right here. And this is just because of the Jupyter thing that does its own thing, but you don't really worry have to. The files are already deleted, and that's probably a nice thing. And this is pretty much how it really works. Like, and of course, if you already were working with compositing and all sort of stuff, what I would really suggest is to really, just check box, just like turn on all of these things. And once you are in the output folder, go to the multi-layer EXR, and then you select your own, let's say DWA lossy, whatever that is. And you just kind of say the multi-layer EXR, and that would really do its own thing. Particularly just kind of pack all of those layers together, and that really you can take that data into the EXR layer, into the Nuke or even DaVinci, into this, let's say, Resolve, and to really just kind of do all of the VFX compositing. And that's pretty much what I really wanted to explain in this video. There is one feature that I have left to demonstrate, and that is like, you can also really just drag and drop all of your Blender extensions here. So what that means is that, if I just kind of go and let's say, let me just kind of open this, download folders, let me grab some zip files, and then I'll just kind of do is I'll just drag and drop it here, and it will just kind of, upload it one by one, 100, and then it's over. And the extensions will be automatically be enabled. And the most important thing is this notification button. Now, of course, when the rendering times are really longer, you don't really have to wait to really see that, hey, whether the rendering is over, what the status or not. If you really enable this notification, the My App, let's say this Cloud Blender render, will tell you that whether your rendering is over or not. Even when you close the browser, the notification will still work decently. So how that really works is that you just click on this one. It will ask you to permission, and you give it allow, and then just wait for a moment. Yeah, now the notification is enabled. So if you really go to the tab, you really render it again, and yeah, so now it's really working, right? Which is nice. And of course, let's see if it really works or not. Yeah, we know it works. So let's say, I hope it should work. It shouldn't fail like Mark Zuckerberg's demo. But like, if I really just kind of start this, and if I, delete all of this. Oh yeah, now it came. I think I was just too paranoid whether it works or not, but like apparently it does work. So yeah. So if I really kind of, go back to, so whether the point I was trying to make that it will work despite whether you close the browser or not. There might be some delay here and there, but that's the point. So yeah, this is pretty much what I really wanted to showcase, the capability of this product, what it really offers you. And yeah, now it might be possible that I might not have covered, all possible scenarios, because Blender is so enormously wide and like it's so big software. So please get in touch with me at info@rahulahire.com. send me email. I'll get back to you within 2 hours. Mostly it's instant, but like depending on the time zones and all of that here and stuff, I'll get back to you as quickly as possible. And then we can discuss whether this is exactly for you or not. And if you want free demo, that is also available. And there is last appeal that I want to make to you is, by any chance, if this Cloud Blender render helps you to make more money, save time, and be more productive, then please consider supporting, consider clicking on the support button here. That will really land to you on buy me a coffee page. Even just a $5, let's say, would really make a lot of difference. Thousands of you donating, let's say there's like 10,000 people already using it, and you can be 1% of that, maybe donating $5 just for one time. That would be enough for me to really sustain this project for next few years. So with that said, I really want to thank you for watching this video. If you have any comments, queries, suggestion, please leave it down in the comment box below, and I'll be happy to get back to you. Till then, stay subscribed, and I'll see you next time.